Recognizing and building on our collective history always makes us stronger and richer as individuals and as a society. However short our time on this earth is, it is a most precious one. Thus, it is important to acknowledge and cherish the people around us and the land we're privileged to make our home. As such, Alberta University of the Arts rests on the traditional Treaty 7 territories of the Blackfoot people, and in the spirit of our efforts to promote reconciliation and better understanding and respect among all of us, we acknowledge the traditional territories and oral practices of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Tsuut'ina, the Stoney Nakoda First Nations, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all of those who live, work, and are passionately engaged in the act of creating meaning in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta.
Good morning, all you wonderful students that have worked so hard for the last 4 years. I'm here to say that you have worked hard. I will present this sage and this sweet grass, and I will do a smudge just for you. And it will be in your honor for all your hard work. The hard work is the reward you're getting as your graduation. And you've awarded that to yourselves. You have earned it and worked hard. I will ask for a blessing to the Creator to come and bless each and every one of you and to give you the direction, the protection that you need to flourish in your journey. Your journey is part of a wonderful way that you will grow to be very successful in all that you do. Choosing this university was one of the beautiful things you've done for yourself and your families. Those of you that have families already of your own, may they be blessed to your hard work. Now I will ask for the blessing to the Creator. Ashtu manitu, binisheta assembly, et tout le monde qui ont travaillé chez Pauli, tout yashka pour tout le temps. Ya, les jeunes, les travailleurs, les étudiants. I ask that the Creator come and bless you as students at a hard work that you have done for yourself. This COVID came along and made it more difficult, but you have persevered. Creator, bless them and direct them and give them the knowledge that they need to continue their journey of life. With this education that they've chosen, this beautiful university, that each and every one of you will remember this. Remember your professors, remember the university, remember your parents, your children, and those that have children of their own, that you remember them, that you are doing this hard work. Creator, I ask this in your name, to bless and to give direction. Amen, Mashikatatin. Thank you, students. May you continue your journey with love, protection, and direction for each other. It's the love that you choose, the respect, the courage, and the wisdom, and your truth, the truth that you have in your heart. Thanks for listening, and that I am proud to be here to congratulate you with love and honor to each of you. Thank you.
Okay. I am Saul Horst, member of the Kainai Nation, part of Black Confederation. My given name is Student Speaker. It is my honor today to congratulate the graduates on the journey that you've been on in this journey of learning to become artists in whatever field that you choose. To always remember the world is your canvas, and that the dream that you've been walking can now become that reality that you've always dreamed of. You carry the past to guide the future, and that's what art does. And it's a special gift that every one of you carry in the heart, to open up your imaginations and look beyond the square box and to really see what's out there, to put that into the art form, whatever that might be. But it is a great honor that you've achieved this goal in your journey. As we often say, life is learning and learning is life. That journey that you're going to expose what can be and creating hope. You're going to forge a path for others to follow in future generations to see where you've been, so they too can forge the future. And it is at that point in time that you will find the rewards that you're so deserving of. So with that, I do honor you and I do thank you for achieving this goal that you've had, this dream. So congratulations.
Hello, graduates, faculty, family, and guests. My name is Carol Ryder, the Chair of the Board of Governors at Alberta University of the Arts. I hereby declare this convocation assembled.
Hi, I'm Demetrios Nicolaides, Alberta's Minister of Advanced Education. Thank you so much for the invitation to participate in today's virtual convocation. I know, of course, that it's regrettable that this convocation does need to take place virtually in light of the pandemic, but I am confident there are brighter days ahead, and want to extend my sincere congratulations to all of you, the class of 2021. The skills and knowledge that you've developed through the excellent programming at AU Arts will set you up on a pathway for success in your future career and life aspirations. Indeed, skills in arts and creativity are essential to building a strong and vibrant society and economy, and I know that your contributions will help make Alberta a better province. Once again, congratulations to graduating class 2021, and all the very best.
Hello, it's Naheed Nenshi, Mayor of Calgary, congratulating all of the graduates this year of AU Arts. What a year it has been. None of us expected that this would go this way. But you know what? It is a great time for art, because oh boy, are there stories to tell. And artists, as always, have led the way in resiliency in our community, in figuring out how we move forward together, just as every single one of you have done. You've shown extraordinary power and extraordinary resiliency. And I know these are tough times. They're scary times. They're uncertain times. Many of us are mourning a lot of things that we've lost. A lot of us don't know what the future looks like. We don't know what the future of the arts looks like. But there's one thing we do know. That is, we live in a powerful and resilient community, that we're getting through this the way we always get through things, and that is together. So in a year where we had a public health crisis, a mental health crisis, an economic crisis, an environmental crisis, and a reckoning finally on what it means to go from being a multicultural and diverse society to a truly anti-racist society. Boy, oh boy, there is a lot of fodder for great art there. But there is also an opportunity for us to all create a new and better future for ourselves, just as artists have always done. Congratulations, everyone, on your graduation. I cannot wait to see what you do next.
Okay, bonjour, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Daniel Doze, President and CEO of Alberta University of the Arts. Joining us today are the Board of Governors, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, parents, and friends, and last but not least, graduates. Thank you so very much for making this a truly unique event under the most exceptional circumstances. Today, it's my great pleasure to formally introduce our first ever ceremonial mace, created by Professor Emeritus Charles Brain. Thoughtfully crafted as a symbol of education and making, Casey Eagle Speaker, lead elder of our Elder Council, guided its development to ensure it respects and celebrates Indigenous peoples and their origins of this land we're privileged to live on. I look to you experiencing this amazing artwork when we return to campus. While it will never replace the graduation we would have had in person, nonetheless today has been a long-anticipated date for many of you, and we would be remiss in not celebrating your proud accomplishments. Our students have worked so very hard to complete their degrees, and as they graduate, we believe it is essential to mark this moment together so we can celebrate and share with parents, loved ones, and friends their creativity, their talent, and most importantly, their passion, the three ingredients for success. In this new reality we find ourselves in, we're going to need paradigm pioneers. So today I would like to introduce you to 150 of these such individuals that will become in many different ways the agents of change our society requires. During this prolonged time of isolation due to the pandemic, I've been reflecting on a short book I read quite a few times over the years, The Little Prince by Saint-Exupéry. I find it quite relevant to what we're all experiencing, as it is as much about isolation, fear, and uncertainty as it is about exploration of oneself as well as the world around us. And it has this wonderful line full of hope, and I quote, "And now here is my secret, a very simple secret. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. And what our graduates have, exhibited through the work of the grad show, is heart. This is why I know that our class of 2021 is going to excel, to contribute, like the many alum before, to creative communities and economies. So I invite you to proudly celebrate with me these unique and amazing individuals. And before we move to the next part of the convocation, I want to introduce this year's 2021 Presidential Shawl. It is beautifully crafted by students Luz Azurellano and Daisy G. It is inspired by Henrik Wolfslin's idea of a window. Now, the window opens onto a three-dimensional world beyond. This shawl signifies a window of adventure, a space of creativity, and a place of transformation. Indeed, most fitting for this year's graduating class. Graduates, please accept my most sincere congratulations.
When we refer to our alumni, faculty, and staff who have achieved international success and influenced the visual culture of Canada and beyond, Chris Cran is one of these people. Chris has dedicated most of his life as a practicing artist and has exhibited nationally and internationally. He says his exhibition at the National Gallery of Canada in 2016 is of particular importance. The hardcover catalog they produced went on to win 19 national and international awards. In addition to the National Gallery, his works may be found in numerous private and public collections, including the Glenbow Museum, Nickel Arts Museum, and the Art Gallery of Alberta. The New York Times describes Chris Cran as a painter who has built his career on tampering with people's perspectives. This is a perfect description. As a longtime fan, admirer, and collector of Chris's works, I am always pleasantly challenged by his use of visual illusions, tricking the eye to make us look from all angles and distances to perceive what we see. At his Alberta Art Gallery show in the National Gallery, I even cheated by discovering if I used my iPhone camera, it pixelated the paintings to reveal the picture or portrait behind the lines. What I've always loved about Chris as an artist is his amazing, engaging persona, and to quote a friend, Chris exudes a sense of energetic, clever, mischievous wit and humor with a raucous and irreverent playfulness in his works to the viewer, and this is always combined with the twinkle in his eye. Chris has had many influences and connections with the Alberta University of the Arts, first as a student who graduated in 1979 with honors when we were then the Alberta College of Art. He has returned many times over the past 25 years to teach and mentor future generations of alumni. He was part of a faculty exhibition in the Illingworth Kerr Gallery. He has been a visiting artist. He was our 1994 Convocation speaker, and of course he has inspired our students and our alumni, of which led us to presenting an Alumni Award of Excellence in 2012. Today it is our honor to present Chris Cran with an Honorary Master of Fine Art from Alberta University of the Arts. Congratulations, Chris Cran, Honorary MFA from Alberta University of the Arts.
Thank you very much for this honor. I'm humbled. When I was young, my mother made it a rule that my siblings and I had to clean our bedrooms every Sunday. We had to be reminded of it every Sunday. One day as I was engaged in the chore, my father entered my bedroom and in almost a whisper said, "You don't have to clean your room, you just have to make it look like it's clean." It's all an illusion. Probably that's why I gravitated to making realist paintings early on. Illusion. And that's also why I resisted taking orders from authorities. Which leads me to another story. In 1994, I was asked to give the keynote address to the ACAD graduation ceremony. I accepted. I didn't want to write a speech. Rather, I wanted to get out of writing a speech. The college published a handout for prospective students, which I got hold of and read. It began, "Your portfolio is your ambassador," and carried on for several paragraphs. I suddenly had an idea. On the day, the first time the graduation ceremony was held at the Jubilee Auditorium, everyone gathered and the speeches and awards began. The faculty were seated on the apron of the stage facing the audience. I was introduced, got up, and walked off the apron to the podium. On cue and without warning, the bewildered faculty was lowered into the orchestra pit, and I began my speech. "Your portfolio is your ambassador," and carried on for one paragraph until the lights went down on me and the curtain behind me opened. Denise Clark, One Yellow Rabbit theater actor, dancer, my friend and future wife, walked forward and began to improvise a dance to an a cappella version of "Do the Hokey Pokey," as sung by another friend, local artist, and UC Professor Emeritus John Will. She finished. The lights came up again on me, and I continued with the next paragraph. As it finished, the lights went down again, and this time came up as the next curtain opened on my friend Harold Nix, a singer-songwriter and visual artist. Harold was the person who had put a paintbrush in my hand and said, "You got to try this." He sang a song off one of his recent albums, the chorus of which went, "I'm going to go to Paris, France, and be an artist, just like Toulouse-Lautrec." He finished, and once again the lights came up on me. I began to deliver the final paragraph, and halfway through, poured myself a glass of water. Only this time, What the audience was hearing was a recording of me speaking, which I was lip-syncing to. I lifted the glass and began drinking as my recorded speech continued. Illusion. Third curtain opens and the top local punk band, the Primrods, finished the set with a blast. And I got out of writing a speech. It took me weeks longer to put this project together than it would have just to write a speech, but this was way more fun. And for me, fun was always more productive than a chore. I found myself discovering pathways, suggestions that I dig deeper, wandering up a creek, and most of all, noticing what caught my eye and why. I regard life and art, the whole thing, as a big project. I discovered early on that if I perceived life's little chores as a nuisance, I was always frustrated. So I decided that all those little chores were part of my big project. I made it my intention to get rid of the habit of allowing small stuff to get in the way. Now I want to talk to you about judgment, whether it comes from within ourselves or without. Either way, we allow it, believing that there is a system of judgment that is important and that matters, like the systems that we all use, avoidance, procrastination, etc., which we pretend not to notice, but which are in fact our own strategies. What is the antidote? Action. Dive in and begin. It will always take you someplace beyond the stall of judgment. A few years ago, I saw a photo of sand shot with a macro lens. Every grain was different. Every grain was like a jewel. It struck me very strongly that if every grain was different, what about humans? None exactly alike. Everyone with their own sensibility, enthusiasms, and noticings. And the infinitude of this is beyond comprehension. How is it that human beings enthuse about dual positions, left and right, this or that? I suppose it's to simplify the meaning of it all, but that's not the job of the artist. Our job is to notice and to wander upstream and come upon whatever fascinates our interest and to continue as we find inspiration. And those inspirations will find their own theater in works of art. And those works of art will inspire others, and so on. When I was a student at ACA in the second half of the 70s, the great discovery for me was that I was learning in a system that wasn't a chore as all of my schooling had been. I was learning, but more importantly, there was the pleasure of learning, the aesthetics of learning, and this was the great gift I got from this institution. When I taught here at ACAD before it became the Alberta University of the Arts, I would recommend to my students that they keep a journal. Whenever they saw some art that knocked them out, I suggested that they write down the artist's name and the title of the work. Over time, this would become not just a list of artists and work that they liked, but a time map of their own aesthetic sensibility. I found the last year of COVID to be just like normal. Quiet, no one around, much like my studio for the past 40 years. However, it did offer me an opportunity to try new things. I began taking old paintings that I once considered duds, but now realized were just unfinished, and reworked them until they were finished. Recycling. This turned my practice around. I found stacks of old analog photo finishing plates, smooth black enamel on steel, not meant for painting, that I had bought for pennies from a camera store that was going out of business in 1993, and I had never used them. And then I transformed them into a series of paintings that resulted in what was, for me, a deeply satisfying exhibition. This pandemic, with its strange dynamics and effects, seems to be carrying on. I, as do many of my artist friends, intend to make the most of it. The antidote to confusion, worry, and doubt is action. When I graduated in 1979 from what was known as the Alberta College of Art, I received a diploma from SAIT. It is with great humility and delight that I accept this Honorary Master of Fine Arts degree from the Alberta University of the Arts. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Yasmine Valim, and I'm a graduate from the Graphic Design and Advertising program and this year's student speaker. Congratulations! Today is the day we've all worked so hard towards, but I want to remind you that this beautiful day is not just a celebration of completion, but rather a celebration of the journey we've taken to be here. And while we cannot physically be together today, we are still connected by the bond of our mutual journey. Now, I'm sure you may be wondering why I've gathered you all here today. Of course, I'm kidding, considering I'm still trying to figure out how I even made it here today. In fact, speaking directly to my peers at graduation was a childhood dream of mine. And I tried to fulfill this dream at both my junior high and high school graduation, only to be let down with a better luck next time. Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. This Japanese proverb tells us to never give up hope and always strive for more. But as we all know, art, craft, and design school is not easy, and sometimes it can be extremely difficult to see beyond the actual fall itself. But what we often forget to appreciate is that for every time our legs felt weaker and the burden of our craft felt impossible to carry alone, we managed to stand up again, and we were stronger every time. When we look back on our years here, we don't remember and tell the stories of the moments we fell. We celebrate how we stood up from them. We remember the all-nighters that somehow resulted in magic and last-minute battles with printers, or that time that you survived first year. Each moment that you found the will to stand again, what you were really doing was building memories and gaining knowledge and learning how to please the printers. We're not ashamed of the times we stumble, because with every step back onto our feet, we've learned how to turn mistakes into lessons, humility into wisdom, and in turn, memories for the ages. Now, don't get me wrong, because sometimes it's just easier said than done, and you just can't stand up alone. And even if you can, you're still stronger when you accept the hand that's extended to you. And that's the beauty of growing together in a community with our friends, family, and faculty, where there's always someone to help you back up. A community that understands you and shows their love with things like, have you drank enough water today? Looking back now, it's clear that these walls instilled resilience in us. And whether it was bouncing back from a tough weekly crit, or it was our amazing instructors learning a new way to teach us, we never stopped moving forward, and we always got back up. And now, between resilience and talent, what each and every one of you is already capable of is unbelievably brilliant. My biggest wish for you all is that you find something that you love doing, and you fully lean into it. And you not only stand, but you rise all the way to the top. Congratulations, AU Arts graduating class of 2021. It's been an absolute honor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yoke-Sum Wong, and I teach in the School of Critical and Creative Studies. I am honored to have been asked to deliver these remarks on behalf of the faculty at Alberta University of the Arts. But let me begin with a confession. I have never attended all 3 of my graduation ceremonies. So in a way, this is my first graduation. As someone who has never been into pomp and ceremony, but understood their significance in all aspects of society, I felt at each stage of my degree I was ready to move on. I did not want a gown, a hood, a cap, a handshake, or a photograph. There was a lot to do, and I wanted to get on with life. This is not to say that my experience should be yours, but in what has been quite a year, you arriving at this stage of the journey is a remarkable one. I can only imagine what you felt at the beginning of the 2020-2021 academic term. How would we do this? How could I do this? Where is the studio? Who fires up the kiln? How do I get access? A student mentioned in one of my classes, half-jokingly, that they were tired of living in a time of world historical events. The 2020-2021 academic year was a year of uncertainty and turbulence, but also resilience and awakenings. It was a year, I believe, that showed how interconnected we are and how we needed to cultivate compassion and empathy. I do not want to fill you with cliches, but it may be an interesting time to be in and be part of. And as artists and creative practitioners, you have so much to give and share and shape and inspire with your work. Some of you know what you are going to do, your life foregrounded and ready. Some of you not so much. I'm sure most of you are tired of being asked, what are you going to do now? When I first arrived in Canada to attend the University of Alberta from Malaysia and Singapore, one wintry December in the late 1980s, I never knew what I would be or where I was going or that I would end up with a PhD and be a Canadian citizen. My first sight of Canada, peering out of the plane window, was the imposing snow-covered mountains of Vancouver. My mother packed my suitcases with heavy clothing and feared I would freeze to death. After all, I came from a world where it perpetually hovered between a humid plus 28 to 35 degrees. I arrived in Edmonton thinking the Rocky Mountains were a few kilometers away, only to find more like they were 4 hours away. I was met in Edmonton by a Vietnamese-Canadian medical student who told me that him and his family were always grateful to the Malaysians because they gave them shelter as refugees. They were the Vietnamese boat people who established a new life in Canada. Meeting me at the airport and helping me settle in was the least he could do, he said. I thought then, with wonder and gratitude, how connected we were, how serendipitous our circumstances, this entangled humanity, how the world circles back. This first encounter, in a way, led me to realize that we were always part of something else, whether we acknowledged it or not, and that life is made up of contingencies and chance encounters. A few weeks after I arrived in Edmonton, during reading week, I wanted to explore Alberta. I looked at a map, jumped on a Greyhound, and went north to Peace River and High Level. It was curiosity that made me jump on the bus to head north, and there was so much to see and explore. This was a new, wondrous, vast landscape before me, and it is vast. And so, if I do have a simple advice, it would be this: be curious, stay curious. Life never fails to surprise, even in the most mundane of spaces and in the most ordinary of moments. I have been very fortunate. The journey to Edmonton was one of the few beginnings that led me to where I am today. And it was never planned. I have traveled, worked in, and lived and stayed in countries across the world and have encountered and collaborated with so many talented people. I wish you all the same. I wish you all the best in all the journeys and adventurings you will embark on, with all the creative and imaginative forces you can muster. Thank you so much.
As chair of the Board of Governors, I have the privilege of presenting the Governor General's Academic Medal for Academic Excellence to a graduating student. Created in 1873, the Governor General Academic Medals encourage academic excellence across Canada. They are the most prestigious award that students in a Canadian school can receive. They are awarded to the student graduating with the highest average. More than 50,000 people have received this accomplishment. I present this medal on behalf of and in the name of His Excellency Richard Wagner, serving as Administrator of Canada since January the 23rd, 2021. This year, I have the pleasure of awarding this beautiful medal to Alexei Dastil.
Master of Fine Arts. The following candidates are awarded a Master of Fine Arts in Craft Media. Matthew O'Reilly, Bobby Wan Yin. Congratulations. The School of Craft and Emerging Media. The following candidates are awarded the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts. Presenting the graduates from the Ceramics program. Banafsha Mohseni Khalisi. Chloe Collins, graduating with distinction. Jiaxi Xia, graduating with distinction. Josefina Rodriguez, graduating with distinction. Joshua Lowe. Katie Adolph. Kevin Sherwood, graduating with distinction, awarded posthumously. Lee St. Louis, graduating with distinction, Board of Governors Award, Ceramics. Yun Dao. Presenting the graduates from the Fiber program. Abby Buckley, graduating with distinction. Ananda Skywalker, graduating with distinction, Board of Governors Award, Fiber. Daniel Cohen. Faye Hodson, graduating with distinction. Jessica Anger, graduating with distinction. Juliet Craker, graduating with distinction. Kylie Fraser. Tori Nudge. Presenting the graduates from the Glass program. Charlotte Polsom, graduating with distinction, Board of Governors Award, Glass. Dawn Barker, graduating with distinction. Kayla Brown. Rain van de Velde Weber. Presenting the graduates from the Jewelry and Metals program. Brielle Reeves, graduating with distinction, Board of Governors Award, Jewelry and Metals, receiving an Eagle Feather. Emily Amon, graduating with distinction. Presenting the graduates from the Media Arts program. Andrea Gardner. Halen King. Janira Monkeo, graduating with distinction, Board of Governors Award, Media Arts. Jesse Boschman, graduating with distinction. Lee Bernal. Nicole Tran. Ursula Soku. William Gwynn. Zara Ji. Congratulations to the School of Craft and Emerging Media. The School of Visual Art. The following candidates are awarded the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts. Presenting the graduates from the Drawing program. Alana Sorga, graduating with distinction. Alina Graber, graduating with distinction. Caro Gingrich, graduating with distinction. Diego Gomez. Elame Sanchez. Emily Pickering. Jennifer Danvers, graduating with distinction, Board of Governors Award, Drawing. Simon Kim. Kasia DeSorsi. Catherine May Nario. Kira Fowle, graduating with distinction. Robert Van Andel. Sophia Love. Steve Sarvag, graduating with distinction. Presenting the graduands from the painting program. Alexei Dostal, graduating with distinction. Governor General's Academic Medal. Chase Swartz, graduating with distinction. Wally Frost, graduating with distinction. Clinton St. John, graduating with distinction. Emma Larson, graduating with distinction. Jillian Kell, graduating with distinction. Jay Yoon, graduating with distinction. Jung Kai Liao. Casey Connor, graduating with distinction. Board of Governors Award, painting. Katja Hust, graduating with distinction. Kyle Morningstar. Larissa Surson, receiving an eagle feather. Laura Williams. Levi Martin, graduating with distinction. Liam Black, graduating with distinction. Meg Bond. Monica Struzek, graduating with distinction. Smith Wright, receiving an eagle feather. Stephen Liu. Presenting the graduands from the print media program. Hannah Lopez, graduating with distinction. Board of Governors Award, print media. Madison Clement. Cheryl Spencer, graduating with distinction. Presenting the graduands from the sculpture program. Dan Gwynn, graduating with distinction. Jaden Blewett. Megan Ivany, Board of Governors Award, sculpture. Congratulations to the School of Visual Art. The School of Communication Design. The following candidates are awarded the degree of Bachelor of Design. Presenting the graduands from the photography program. Chloe Jaster. Hannah Mahan, graduating with distinction. Jake Herrera, Board of Governors Award, photography. Presenting the graduands from the Visual Communication Design program, advertising and graphic design. Stephen Wu. Abby Peters. Andrea Engel, graduating with distinction. Angela Franco, graduating with distinction. Ashlyn Putz, graduating with distinction. Aisha Lantakan. Dane Thrun, graduating with distinction. Danielle Gleckler, graduating with distinction. Edwin Kerr, graduating with distinction. Emily Biaggi, graduating with distinction. Emily Perkins. Aaron Torrance, graduating with distinction. Georgina Metzler, receiving an eagle feather. Harrison Sirwa, graduating with distinction. Board of Governors Award, Advertising and Graphic Design. Izzy Curl. Jessica Gillam, graduating with distinction. Jessica Taylor, graduating with distinction. Joyce Lamb. Lim Nam. Justine Morrow. Kat Lamb, graduating with distinction. Clarice Clarissa, graduating with distinction. Kim Clausen, graduating with distinction. Kun Lin. Marielle Manello. Marissa Bender, graduating with distinction. Mikey Fritzler, graduating with distinction. Nicole Yu, graduating with distinction. Noemi Blanchette. Reese Anderson. Sophia Velasquez, graduating with distinction. Sun Ah Herc, graduating with distinction. Veronica Veron, graduating with distinction. Yasmin Gamia, graduating with distinction. Yasmine Valim, graduating with distinction. Our 2021 student speaker. Presenting the graduands from the Visual Communication Design Program, Character Design and Illustration. Adrian Linsangan. Alia Katoni. Alana Novak, graduating with distinction. Chelsea Gertson, graduating with distinction. Clara Matcham, graduating with distinction. Daniela Vasco, graduating with distinction. Deneen Osmond, graduating with distinction. Gina Rawson, graduating with distinction. Grace Finara Winters. Haley Sexsmith, graduating with distinction. Haley Frederick, graduating with distinction. Henry Hayes, graduating with distinction. Board of Governors Award, Character Design and Illustration. Izzy Pills. Asensio Kwang. Sophie Jans. James Kim. Jay DeJour, graduating with distinction. Jenna Heshmat, graduating with distinction. Julius Amendi. Cassandra Livingstone. Chris O'Day. Kyle Jack. Mackenzie Wagner. Maya Kazmar Mayo, graduating with distinction. Mallory Bell, graduating with distinction. Megan McNary, graduating with distinction. Slack Keith, graduating with distinction. Molly Little, graduating with distinction. Morgan Johnson, graduating with distinction. Neil Lala. Nicholas Orich. Nina Patafi. Philip Brovedani, graduating with distinction. Sarah McPhee. Sean Sepp. Simone Stehauer, graduating with distinction. Sydney Smith, graduating with distinction. Sydney White. Winnie Tran, graduating with distinction. David Meng. Congratulations to the School of Communication Design.
As we close today, I commend our graduating class 2021 in this extraordinary past year of online learning, virtual classes, and home studios, and yes, for overcoming isolation, missing the synergy of being with their fellow students and faculty in person, and the extra burden of worrying about finishing projects, finances, friends, and family. You have been innovative and creative and have overcome obstacles and learned new skills that will serve you well as emerging artists in your life journey. I would like to recognize and acknowledge the parents, families, and friends who have supported our graduates this past year for your extraordinary support of their studies and artistic practices, and who today share in the joy and excitement of their success. Wherever you are in the world, thank you, loved ones. I invite all those in attendance to rise, if you can. Members of the Board of Governors, on behalf of the faculty, I present to you these graduates and ask that they be admitted to the degrees which they are entitled, by virtue of the authority vested in the Board of Governors, by the statutes of the Province of Alberta, and upon the recommendation of the faculty of Alberta University of the Arts. I admit you to the degrees to which you are entitled and invest with you all the rights and privileges, powers and responsibilities pertaining to such degrees. At this point in time, I will ask the graduates to perform an age-old convocation tradition of moving the tassel on your mortar board from the right side to the left side, signifying your movement from candidate to graduate. If we were in person, we would now walk back to the AU Arts campus for the opening of the 2021 grad show in the Illingworth Kerr Gallery. At that show, we would enjoy one item each graduating student has chosen to represent the best of their art, craft, and design. Today, we are thrilled to carry on this tradition with a physical grad show that can be viewed by an expansive 360-degree virtual tour. Grad show has also gone digital, featuring a portfolio of multiple artworks which can be enjoyed for an entire year. Grad show opens right after this convocation, and it is a celebration of talent, determination, and creativity of our students. We are proud of what our graduates have achieved and look forward to your continued artistic growth and unique voice as you join our proud alumni community. Congratulations to our class of 2021, and thank you for joining us today. Congratulations.
Hey,